I don't. Well, your mom had a part in it, so I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying.
Hey there, Gildies.
Gildies?
Gildies. I call them Gildies sometimes. You got a better name? Hit your buttons and shut up. You know what your part in this whole deal is. Get in there, say hey, share us out to people who don't want to see us. We haven't had anybody from Brazil or Puerto Rico or anywhere for the last couple of weeks. What's happening?
I don't know. I've been
get part of some of them international groups.
I will stop with trying to be all local here. I'll get back into the international scene. I was trying to share us out to like Northern Arkansas Magic groups and things like that.
I was hoping that by the time we went to Gen Con that we'd get asked for autographs, but I don't know where that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Probably ain't going to Gen Con. It ain't canceled yet, but, you know.
It might as well be.
Well, they pushed back the registration date, Shirley was telling me. They announced today.
Oh, did they? I haven't seen that yet.
But they haven't canceled it yet. But they pushed back registration, so.
Right.
This is the pre-show show, so if you've turned in, this is the pre-show show where we talk about pre-show stuff. Pre-show show stuff. Yeah, Gen Con's a show, so that's show stuff.
That is show stuff.
We're talking about Gen Con. He's hitting buttons and sharing us out to God knows who. I don't know.
Some of them might even want to hear us.
Some of them. So anyway, we're getting everybody assembled here. You know, once them numbers jump up, you know, real big for us, like, you know, close to double digits, then we'll be jumping into actual content. Right now, we are just talking about stuff.
Well, we're good at talking about stuff.
We're good at talking.
It is one of
We just talked for an hour on Reblogatog, episode number 8, which will be coming out this weekend or so. Is that when you'll get it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. All right. You get your buttons hit yet?
I got most of them hit. Sometimes it makes me wait for a while before I can hit more. It's like I hit too many in a row. So. All
right, well, we're going to get rolling here. This is... This is not Reblogatog.
This is
you got to jump from one show to the other, my man. Welcome back to another loaded show that ought to have picked up a Tony Award by now, but that's just the way things go.
Do you even know what a Tony is?
Yeah.
Because we can't sing.
You don't have to sing. That's Broadway, right?
Yeah.
I done used Oscars and Emmys. I'm using Tonys. For those of you following along.
You're playing the at-home game.
Yeah. Al and I are back to dazzle you with the thrills and chills that you've come to expect over the last 62 episodes. This will be no different. We will chill you and thrill you.
Ooh.
Yeah. Buckle in. Hold on tight, buckaroos. We got no events to report on this week because, you know, that thing that's going on.
That thing.
Yeah.
The C word.
But we can't talk about future events. And I've been talking the last couple weeks, and I have decided that I am a rebel. I am a revolutionary.
Oh.
But we do live in a small town. Wright County, Missouri had 9 COVID cases, and they are all better. There are 0 cases in our county. And so I am going to be running 8-man flights of pre-release for Ikoria on May 15th and 16th. I have times posted. I made an event today. Already got a few people signed up. Everybody's going to wear a mask. You're not going to touch other players' cards. You're not going to cut your opponent's deck. And if you need to see them, you'll ask them to turn around so you can read it because it's new cards and everything. 8 player pods plus me. We're under the maximum amount that I can have in my store because of everything. And like I said, with mask, we're going to do our best. I believe we'll be safe and secure. So if you believe in that and you believe in the freedom to be able to get out of your own house after doing our social distancing and after flattening the curve, then see me about signing up for one of the events that I'm running. That's what's going to be going on. We're doing Friday at 2, 6, and 10. They are going to be 40-minute rounds with 45 minutes build time. And then when one group's done, I'll do a thorough bleaching and cleaning before the next one starts. So we're going to have to move it along.
Yep.
So 40-minute rounds I know are quick. We may have some draws, but that's okay. I got packs and door prizes for everybody that plays. And then Saturday we're going to do noon, 3:30, and the 7 o'clock is a two-headed giant. And I do have I don't know if I got 1 or 2 teams already signed up. I only got room for 4 teams.
Right.
So if you want to do that, you need to let me know. It is a $30 entry. You'll be getting a pack for every round you win, just like I normally do. I'll have door prizes. And everybody's going to get a pack just for playing, okay? Because we're doing 3 rounds instead of 4. And then I will have a limited amount, depending on how many people sign up for events, that I will sell for take-home pre-release. And I've already sold the ones that I know that I have extras at this point. So I don't have any currently for at home until I close out these events. So just check back with me, all right? And there's going to be no exceptions. If you're late to the event, it comes out of your deck building time. So I will start the events at the mentioned times.
Right.
Because you got 45 minutes, not the hour I normally give people. Then we're going to start the round, and they're 40-minute rounds, and then rounds will go to time because it's a new set and stuff. But we're going to move it along so that I can get the extra flights in, get people out of here, and we can play, and I can clean between rounds. That's what's going on, guys. That's what's happening. If you've got any questions, PM me. Let me know, and we'll take care of it from there.
I assume, yes, you will need to bring your own mask.
Yes, I'm not providing masks. Not at this time, anyway, unless somebody wants to provide me with some. I don't have them. I'm going to be using a bandana.
I probably will as well.
I carry a bandana with me at all times. And, in fact, I can prove to you that I have one right now. I'll be using that bandana as my face mask. I will fold it. I get about 4 or 8 folds in it, and then it still ties around. And I will be wearing that. I'll be wearing gloves when I hand out product. So if you're not comfortable with that situation, please don't come out. If you're sick, please don't come out. I understand totally, but if you're okay with that situation, locals, come out and play, and we'll get a little gaming in. That's the first event I'll be having in the store.
Yep.
Is for that, and we'll see after that. See if they relax social distancing a little bit as we go farther from that. That's all I got to say about that. If there's been any questions you caught there, anything, you got any comments on that?
No, I'm just ready to get a chance to put cards in my hand again.
Okay.
I've got to play just a couple of games of Paper Magic since this all started. It's been a little rough.
I haven't played Magic in over a month, and the itch is strong.
When I went to see Chucky and get the last of my stuff that was in storage up there, we played a game or 2 of Brawl, I believe. We played pre-con Brawl decks against each other.
Anyway, that's what's going on for future events. I did notice they announced another secret lair drop.
Yes.
With the 5 basic lands with the Godzilla art. So if you've been in on the secret lair drops, maybe you want that thing. That's $6 a land.
Yeah,
$30.
When is this one going? Do we know?
May 7th, I believe 7th? It was. Now, the difference in this one, as I understand it, is in the past they've pre-printed some.
Yes.
With the expectation of shipping those out right away, and then they would print the others, and you get them a little later on.
Right.
None of these have been printed. And so you're going to be waiting until July, I believe, before you get these.
Right. With everything else going on in the world, printing has become an issue for them on things like this.
We've already had half the commander decks pushed back. We've got Jumpstart just got pushed back to July release from June. And we're liable to see more of that.
Right.
I'm also noticing now that I've reopened here and I'm trying to put orders in, a lot of stuff is on back order from both my distributors,
right,
besides the one that's still closed,
right,
because I'm assuming they can't get restocks themselves because they're not being printed. They're maybe on the slow boat from China,
right. Well, as we talked about before, when we were talking about tariffs months and months ago, a lot of stuff, a lot of board game stuff and everything is made in China. With China, it got shut down before we did. Production of a lot of that gaming stuff.
I understand that's getting back up to normal,
right,
but again, it does take a while for the boats to get here, so
right,
they may actually be on the slow boat from China.
And I just want to point out, I saw some people online griping about the secret lair, $30 for 5 basic lands. If you don't like it, don't buy it.
Don't buy it. Doesn't hurt anybody if you don't. Don't buy it.
This is actually maybe one of the ones that, even though it's $30 for 5 basic lands, they're really sweet art.
If you like Godzilla, there's not much in the way of basic lands that have any critters on them anywhere. It's just not something you see.
And as ridiculous as some people may think this is, I just also want to point out that the first batch of secret layers, the most expensive one to get your hands on now is the one that was just 5 basic lands.
That's the snow covered. So.
They were snow covered, but I don't think the Eldraine snow covereds looked as sweet as these Godzilla lands.
Definitely not as playable. So, anyway, there's that. I thought I'd make a mention of that. They did announce Hasbro earnings.
Yes. And
Magic revenue was solid, ahead of predictions for the first quarter. Arena and Paper both doing quite well.
Yes.
40%, I believe, above last year. Now, COVID-19 hadn't taken effect yet that much in March, so next quarter is going to be a different thing. We're going to see Arena spike up high, but probably overall sales are going to be really soft, very low.
Right.
Because there's not a lot happening. But it's going to be interesting to see what the second quarter looks like when
Arena and Magic Online will both be through the roof for second quarter, but I don't know how that equates.
I don't think they ever call Magic Online out as a separate entity.
Do they not? Is it just digital Magic now?
They usually just say Arena. I'm sure Magic Online makes a non-zero amount for them.
Right.
I just don't know how
much
that is.
I know I've heard a lot that lately it's very full. The server, everything, leagues are filling quickly, because it's the only one place you can play Eternal formats right
Sure. That makes sense. But while we're on this, I'm going to skip ahead, but this past week, Mark Rosewater did an interview with the professor on the Tolarian Community College. Most of you know who that is. If not, Google it. You'll get there. And the primary part of the discussion was, is Magic still being made? Because R&D is shut down in the pit, which they call it there at the mothership.
Right.
They're all working from home, but they're still making the normal sets. They're still making everything they were going to. Everything is still planned to be produced as it was. It may be delayed because of printing and shipping issues that they can't do anything about, because they want safety all the way through, from their partners to their employees all the way to us, the players. So that was a stressed thing. They're still doing all that. And the other thing is that Paper Magic is super healthy. Paper Magic is not scheduled to be phased out.
Right.
Doesn't matter how popular Arena is. Magic is grounded in paper. It's even now we're seeing it more than ever. Even though more people are playing Arena right now, we're seeing people play Magic with cameras and playing Paper Magic online with cameras and groups forming to do it. And it's a very, I don't know, it's just a very grassroots kind of thing that paper is there. Mark Rosewater assured many times it's not going anywhere. It is the one thing that sets it aside from all the other popular games. Of the top 30 most popular games, Magic's the only one you can actually sit down physical. You need digital for all the other stuff.
Right.
And they like that it differentiates them. This is not something this is not a phase out, guys. They are not trying to eliminate paper. If you've gotten that feeling anywhere, you've gotten a wrong feeling.
Right. I totally agree. They make too much money, and their biggest part of their fan base, the biggest part of their player base, is still all paper.
They actually make the most money he says, from paper.
Money.
They're making more money off paper than Arena.
Yeah.
Whether that'll always be the case, I don't know. But they make more money from paper than they make from Arena. From all digital. So.
Yeah. Your number one demographic, we always talk about it, is your kitchen table casuals that don't come out to play in the store as much and stuff like that. And those people don't want to play Arena, guys. They want to play around their kitchen table, and they want to play with paper cards.
Most of those people aren't even watching this kind of this kind of show, even a little Facebook Live from a local game shop. There might be a few. I'm not going to call anybody out, but there might be a few I've seen touch base there. But Magic is still alive and well, folks. Don't think that it's not. We are on a little bit of a downtrend because we just can't get together and play.
Right.
But it's going to bounce back hard. I guess Alan's going to call it a rant, and I'm happy to let it be a rant.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with anything you say in your rant, so.
But WotC made an announcement this week that hit me really close to home. I posted some stuff up, and I thought maybe some of my old timers would grab hold of it, but I didn't see it locally. So page enough, and that's a shame on you. All right? Don't wait for Facebook to put it into your feed. You got to go look at Grove Gamers Guild. You got to go look. I post cool shit, guys. Get on there and look at it. They are getting rid of DCI numbers. They're getting rid of Planeswalker points. And if you're an old fricker like me, you'll remember when it was the ELO system that they copied from chess.
Yep.
Okay? Before there was Planeswalker points. You had a rating just like chess. Base of 1,600. When you won games, you got points. When you lost games, you lost points. I mean, there were times when I was under 1,600. There were times I got to 1,700 and something. It just varied. These have been around.
That part of it.
They have been around for a long time. So, as part of my history of Magic, it's not from 25 years ago. It's a little short, by less than a year, to be honest. But I'm going to talk about Planeswalker points, and I'm going to talk about the nostalgia of it for me. So, if you're not interested in that, we can watch the numbers drop there as I talk a little bit about it. But going forward, you're not going to have DCI numbers. You're going to have your Wizards account. If you already play Magic Arena, you probably have one. Mm-hmm. If not, you really need to sign up for one. Going forward, you won't give me your DCI number. Now, this isn't immediate, but it's after May 27th or some date past that. I'll still be using those for a little while till they make the new event link live. But you'll just be giving me, I think, your email address is how you'll register.
I believe so.
Or you can download the MTG Companion app, and you can sign into events, get your pairings, and report your results without me printing out any slips or anything. Paperless. So see me if you're not sure what I'm talking about. That's how we'll do it locally. That's how you do it everywhere eventually.
I got to admit, the whole MTG Companion app and that working like that sounds really nice and something that's been long overdue. Especially for big tournaments or something, it would really simplify things.
So that's what's going to happen. If you don't have one of those, you don't want to give up that information, I can register you a guess. It just won't track anywhere.
Sure.
Kind of like if I gave you a DCI number and you never registered, you don't show up anywhere. Yeah. When I look at my history, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, there are a lot of people who never registered a DCI number because there's lots of blanks, no names. Mm-hmm. People I played over the last 24 years, okay? Man, it's just... My first entry is from February 2nd, 1996. I played in VisionCon in Springfield in 1996 at 3 events. That's my first ratings I got. My first tournament I was in, I got 6 points for. They didn't give points then. That's all retroactively done when they switched Planeswalker points back in 2010 or 11, whenever they did that. Not too long after I opened, actually. So, what was cool about it was that you could go on there. I don't know if you guys ever did. Go look at your Planeswalker points. You go to your events, and you could see where you played, who you played, and how well you did. And it's just a nice little nostalgia trip. So I was looking through mine, and like I said, that was my first one. It shows that in, I made some notes because I got the old man memory, right? So in September 22nd of 96, I was in Wichita, Kansas, playing at my very first pre-release, the Mirage pre-release. Now, guys, if you don't know, and most of you won't or shouldn't, but September 22nd of 1996 was my 11th anniversary. My wife was there with me. She was painting minis while I played Magic. Learning all about flanking. All right? I did horrible at this pre-release, but I had a great time. Okay? And I would go to a lot of pre-releases after that. All right? In June of 97, I went to States in Columbia with a little fella you guys might know named Billy Gilmore. And another little fella you guys might know right here. And another, we're not going to call Homero a little fella.
Right.
If you know Homero Flores, used to manage Metagames in Springfield. He was also with us. The 4 of us. Was Jeremy with us for that?
Jeremy might have been with us, although I don't know how
Homero's
we got all
brother.
5 of us in the car.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But there was at least 4 of us that went. Some things stand out, and this jogs my memory. Having this to refer to jogs my memory. This is nostalgia. Many things happened. Somebody locked keys in the car.
I don't know who did that. Billy. We decided it was Billy, right?
Billy had AAA, so we got him out. Somebody beat Homero twice. I never did that in any other events, okay? Beat him in Swiss, beat him in top 8, and I came in second in states that year, which nobody ever knows because first got the prize and, got the plaque.
You got the product, he got the plaque, essentially.
Well, we both got product. I got the same product, just didn't get the plaque, didn't get the title. Second in states. But the big thing, beat Homero twice. In August of that same year, went to Wichita again. We used to have to travel a long ways to play Magic, guys.
A lot of Memphis.
There wasn't anything around here. Wichita, Memphis, Little Rock,
Carbondale?
Kansas City,
We used to go to
St. Louis. Yeah. Went to Wichita to PTQ. I got 9th place.
Pretty good.
I had my truck, my little truck that was pretty new. Homero and I took it. Dang near died on the ride back. If you guys are getting bored, you can tune out. That's fine. It's nostalgia time, baby. This is what Magic's about.
Our numbers are looking good.
Getting together with your buds and playing and having stories. And they're deleting it. They're sunsetting it. It's going away. If I can't find a way to save it, screenshot it, something, I won't have this to refer back to. I'm telling you guys about it. I'm making a recorded history. I'm just telling you about the first 3 years here. Some highlights. February of 98, I came in top 4 of a Stronghold pre-release with 261 players. Yeah, before we had them in store, we had regional pre-releases. And there was 261 of them. And I came in top 4 of that.
Would that have been at the Armory or? No, it was in Wichita. That's the first pre-release I ever went to, though.
Then in March of 99, I believe, because I don't have Homero stuff, I believe that's when we were at a PTQ and Homero got his invite to Pro Tour New York.
Yes.
Which he went to, and he came in 64th.
Fourth, yes.
66th. 66th. The reason I'm telling you is because this is related to DCI numbers.
Yeah.
And Pro Tour New York in 99, they had a special draft for 8 players.
Yep.
So for 9th and 10th place, because they just missed top 8.
Uh-huh.
For 33rd and 34th, because they just missed
another invite.
I think that's right. I had it pulled up here so that I could remember. I had a cheat sheet pulled up.
Right. 65th and 66th.
Just missing automatic invitation to the next Pro Tour.
Homer finished 34th.
Oh, sorry, 34th.
He just missed the invitation.
He just missed the invitation. I knew he finished in the money.
Okay.
2 other guys finished 65th, 66th. They just missed money. And then 97th and 98th, they just missed day 2.
Right.
Now, funny thing is, Mr. Peter Leher, who finished 98th, just got into this draft. The draft was oversized 6x9 cards that they drafted, okay? And he wins the draft. 98th place, wins the draft, and he won DCI number 1. Number 1. Nobody else, I think, has less than 4 digits except him. He won that was the prize.
Yep.
Plus, they got to keep all these oversized cards.
Yeah.
I don't know if Homero still got his, but he had basic lands, Black Lotuses. This guy won because he saw that Chaos Orb was good with Guardian Beast. That's what he won with. Chaos Orb did not sacrifice; it destroys, and it's really hard to spread out those big cards on your playing surface because they're so large. And that's how he won.
I love that picture of him holding the Chaos Orb too.
I'm going to destroy it. And I got a Guardian Beast, so I'll use it again next turn.
Yeah.
So anyway, lots of fun stuff having to do with what did I do with? There we go. So having to do with the. Then a week later, after that. After I'm pretty sure that's where Homero got his win.
I keep trying to remember if he had already got his invitation when we were in KC,
I didn't see any other New York Pro Tour qualifiers after that. We went to Grand Prix Kansas City, and there was several of us, and we made shirts, and we went as Team Grove.
Team Grove.
We had shirts made. I still got mine somewhere.
I do as well, I believe.
Yeah, I should have got that out for tonight's episode.
Oh.
We just did some iron-on, just a quick thing. Did our own shirts.
Yep.
Went up there, had a blast.
Yeah, until I went to Vegas with you a couple years ago, like it was the epitome of magic. I mean, I know it's 20 plus years ago, but there's thousands of people there, it felt like, at least. You know, I mean, it was crazy. Lots of big artists for the time we got to meet. This was in the time period of the best Magic players in the world. Like Finkel and Kai Buddha were like showing down, or like having a showdown in the finals of this thing or something, or they were both top aided.
I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. High Tide was king.
High Tide. It was extended.
High Tide was king. Homero and I were playing anti-High Tide with choking. What's it called?
Choking Sands.
Choking Vines.
Choking Vines. So
Islands come into play tapped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were playing. We had river boas and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you should have been playing Burn.
You were playing Burn, but that was in the night before event, right?
That was in the night before. I did really well.
Did really well, which let you do what?
No, that's not what let me actually do that.
Okay. What tell us?
Well, at this GP Kansas City event, we for every event you were in, if you did side events, because just like back then there were side events, you got a ticket, and you got to put you into a drawing. All I played in, I believe, was the main event. I played in the trial the night before, so maybe I had 2 tickets, if that counted as a separate ticket. But then they drew 8 tickets at random to do a draft. And they Rochester drafted with 2 packs of Urza's Legacy and 1 pack of Arabian Nights.
I've never drafted Arabian Nights. Have you guys drafted Arabian Nights?
I've drafted Arabian Nights.
1 pack anyway.
1 pack. I still have that empty pack that, you know, because that's before they were
2
foil.
packs, yeah.
That's before they were foil, you know.
Yep.
I have that in some of my Magic stuff.
So again, lots of memories, nostalgia in this. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that last one. Homero would know if I said Memphis. We got lots of stories, man. We used to get White Castles. I mean, we just a good time. Mm-hmm. And that nostalgia going away, that's a part of history. And I hope that somebody's able to preserve that. I hope I'm able to at least screenshot it and preserve it. Because we're talking a lot. And that's only like the first 3 years worth of stuff, you know? I mean, my goodness. So anyway, I wish Wizards would rethink that. There's a lot of reasons it tells me they won't. But hopefully, I've been looking for ways to save it. So that's
I do understand the moving on to a new system after all these years. I get that. I just hate the fact that they're just going to get rid of all this information. That's what I find to be the most worrisome about it. Not that they're changing the system, is that they're getting rid of that history. Essentially, that's the worrisome part to me.
For me, I never played against anybody really famous. I saw some people playing. I never played against them. I was never a great competitive player. I told you about my best finishes, to be honest with you. But you know, I looked at the names of the people I played in the early days. There was no John Finkel in there or anything like that, you know. So I played with some of the really good players out of the Springfield area. Homero, who did make the Pro Tour. Ryan Sala, who also made the Pro Tour a few times. I played with some of those guys back in the early days. But no. There's not a big roster, and I don't have. I mean, I'm level 39. I'm a few short of 8,000 points. You know,
right?
And it doesn't matter. I've had a store for all these years, and a lot of times I don't even play. You know, I get 1 point. I'll play, and I'll just be the buy. I'll play against the buy player, so they win. You know, I'm not about the points. Never have been about the points. Other than that short time, Homero and I were chasing the dream, and then I just became his playtest buddy. You know, but we had a great time. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. DCI numbers, yeah, things change. Why they have to go away, I don't know. So has there been any questions, comments that we need to address here?
Nothing. No, some talking, but nothing.
I don't know what you want to know about Richard Garfield there, Michelle. He invented magic.
Oh, you played against Richard Garfield, so you did play against somebody famous, but that wasn't a sanctioned match.
Yeah, that wasn't a sanctioned match. No, he had cards in his deck that he made up, and his daughter drew the pictures for.
He's Richard Garfield. He can do that.
He could do whatever he wanted. Yeah. So that was in Memphis. That was in like 2007 or 8. Or I don't remember what year that was. So another good memory though, but there's no record of that in my DCI numbers because I just waited in line, got to play in 1 game. So good times, good memories. are we ready to move along then to our uncommon set review?
I believe we probably should. The only other thing I had to mention, I don't know if it's really for this show. It's about the finance article that came out this week. I don't know if you read it. The big one that got all the talk that was on thewire.com about the stockbrokers of Magic.
Oh.
I didn't know if you'd read it. It confirmed a couple things that we already knew about some essentially insider trading. There was it confirmed that people did know about the existence of Pioneer before it was announced, and that was a spike in
Look,
the
guys,
card spikes.
Magic is not a stock.
Right.
It's not regulated by anybody, and if you think that it is, then you wrong.
Right.
Yeah, people are going to know stuff. People are going to abuse it. People already abuse the stock market, and it's illegal.
Legal. Right.
So, yeah, just get over it is all I can basically say.
I just thought I'd mention it because it got some traction amongst normal normal media sources that weren't just gaming, or somebody might have seen it that is not as familiar with Magic. I just wanted to
there is a
mention it.
financial side to Magic, but
Yeah. Hello from South Africa. Well, hello.
Oh, mercy. Yes, welcome. We are not worthy. But thanks for joining us. We're just talking about nostalgia here, but we're getting ready to go into
Ikoria.
Ikoria. We're going to talk a little bit about the uncommons. We did mythics 2 weeks ago, rares last week. We're doing uncommons today. Talking about some synergies and stuff. Next week we'll talk about commons before we get ready for that draft or that pre-release and what you should play. So, you want to kick it off? You want me to?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm actually going to kick it off with the very first card on that list, which I almost looked past until I realized there was a word I was missing there. Both. I was missing both. Fight is one. It's a very simple card. It's one white instant, which already, what's that do? We'll choose one or both.
Or both.
Target human creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible until end of turn. And target non-human creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible until end of turn.
And or. You can choose one or both.
One or both, yeah. But +1/+1 and indestructible to two creatures for one white, I feel is a very, very powerful combat trick.
Especially for limited, because you're probably not going to have all humans. You're not going to have all non-humans.
No.
But it is going to be situational, but at least it's useful no matter what you have.
Right.
And maybe you get both of them.
And maybe you have both.
One.
I just feel like that's a very powerful combat trick that I skimmed past, and then my eye caught both, and I was like, oh, two indestructible creatures both getting buffed for 1 mana. That can swing a game in a limited format very quickly.
It most certainly can. And we typically like to highlight things that you might miss if you're a new player.
Yeah.
So we're not your in-depth. We're not LSV and Marshall. We're not. Okay. We're trying to give people who maybe haven't played in a lot of pre-releases or who haven't played Magic very long, give them some tips on how to play. So we're not doing the deep dive, but things you ought to look at in white, I think, and pretty much in every color, is cycling.
Cycling, yes.
Humans are really important for white. So watch for your humans, and you can build around that. And then vigilance seems to be a primary ability for white, and I'm gonna tell you why. There is a card called Keensight Mentor, and that's a cycle. Every color has a mentor, and it cares about the counters. When it enters the battlefield, you put a vigilance counter on target non-human creature you control. Really weird. Non-human, but it does. And then for a white one, you can tap to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with vigilance. Now, the reason vigilance is so important is that these things work together. If you'll take a look when you get a chance, there's a card called Sanctuary Lockdown. It's a white and 2. It's an enchantment. All your humans you control get +1/+1. And for 2 mana and tapping, 2 untapped humans you control tap target creature an opponent controls. Pretty nice.
Pretty nice. This is one of those cards. There's kind of, I don't know if it's a full cycle of something that similar to this. Maybe you think of the power level and cards like this. You remember when that mana cost wouldn't have used to have been there on a card?
Oh, yeah.
Our power level goes up on some things, but some things they realize are too powerful.
But what I'm getting at is it says tap 2 untapped humans you control. If they've got vigilance, you'll be able to attack with them or block with them and then still use this ability. Another place that would come in handy is Swallow Whole. As an additional cost to cast a spell, tap and untap creature you control. It's 1 white mana, it's a sorcery, but it exiles target tapped creature. And then you put a +1/+1 counter on the creature you tapped to pay the spell's additional cost. So you tap one of your creatures to exile one of their tapped creatures. So again, if you've got vigilance creatures, you're going to be able to attack with it, and then after combat, boom, get rid of something. So vigilance is real important in white, I felt. And then the humans are playing a big part in it, and of course cycling.
Cycling, I think I had seen you mention something. We have at least one really good cycling, like a cycling build around, oddly, even though it's an uncommon for 1 white mana with your Flourishing Fox.
Yeah, I don't believe it's a cycle, but not every color has it at uncommon anyway, maybe uncommon.
But Flourishing Fox is just 1 white for a 1/1 Fox, and whenever you cycle another card, you get to put +1/+1 counter on it. And even more important in limited, it has cycling 1.
Cycling for 1, yes.
Cycling for 1 is incredible, and I don't know if we've ever seen cycling for 1 generic before Ikoria.
So this is a card for you guys that are new. If you got it in your opening hand, play it. If you draw it on turn 8, cycle it.
Yeah, that's exactly,
Cycle it for 1, get you something better, okay? That's what you do with that card. But anyway, that hits the main stuff.
Buff and white, I believe.
Valiant Rescuer is pretty good. A white and 1 for a 3/1. It's a human soldier. Whenever you cycle another card, for the first time each turn, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. And it also cycles for 2. Now, the key there is when you cycle another card for the first time. But cycling is an instant.
Right.
You don't have to cycle during your turn.
Nope.
So you can cycle during your turn. You can cycle during your opponent's turn. You can get 2 creatures per turn cycle out of this thing.
Yes.
If you build a cycling deck.
Yeah. And there's
Keep that in mind when you're drafting.
There's some really good cycling out there.
Once we get to draft.
We hit blue. I have to mention, just because of the wonderful name, because I do love when we get great names, and that's Archipelagor.
I'm glad you can say that. I was having trouble with it.
Archipelagor, I guess that landmass is going to try to eat me. And it's just a big beater. I just had to mention the name. It's not exceptionally, oh my god, and limited, but it's a big beater. It's a big 7/7.
It's a mutate.
Yeah, it's a big 7/7 mutate. So
whereas white had
2 mutates.
Had 2 mutates. Blue also has 2 mutates, look like, at uncommon. So, mutate, definitely a theme you want to watch for, especially if you're trying to, if you want to go big, if you want to go large. I noticed in blue, cycling and drawing, lots of the blue uncommons cycle or draw cards. Or cycle and draw cards,
Yeah.
And then flying counters seem to be the predominant counter that you're wanting to work on, because we've got the evergreen counters. We've got flying and vigilance and lifelink and death touch and +1/+1 and all these counters, first strike and so forth. Blue is worried about flying, so that's a great evasion to have when you're playing sealed or draft. So watch for the cards that do that kind of thing. Their build around for cycling is Escape Protocol. It's a blue and 1 enchantment. Whenever you cycle a card, you may pay 1 generic mana. When you do, exile target artifact or creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So that's a blink effect that's going to let you get ETBs again. That's enter the battlefield.
Off artifacts, which can be very good.
Or creature.
Yep.
And then it has another enchantment. And this is the one that I'm not sure if it's good or it's a trap.
That's fair.
Ominous Seas, the blue and 1, it's an enchantment. It says whenever you draw a card, put a foreshadow counter on Ominous Seas. Remove 8 foreshadow counters from Ominous Seas. Create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token. And it cycles for 2. Now, the key thing I saw is that you don't sacrifice it to do that.
No.
But you got to remove 8 counters. That means you have to have drawn 8 cards. Well, you're going to naturally draw a card every turn. So every 8 turns, you're going to get one if it stays out there.
Right.
If you cycle, that's drawing a card. If you can somehow get off this boon of the Wish Giver for 2 blue and 4, draw 4 cards. That's half an 8/8.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm not sure if it's a trap to build around that, to draft that and try to build around it.
I'll tell you.
Will you cycle? Will you draw enough to make that pay over the course?
I tell you, I want to drop it into a couple commander decks, but in limited, it feels like it could be a trap.
And 8/8, especially when you got ways to put flying tokens on that 8/8.
Yeah.
It just seems like it could be really, really good.
It really could, but pushing yourself to try to get the 8 counters on there, I don't know. Well, I want to get these cards in my hand so we can find out.
Mystic Subdual also seems like Blue's removal spell there. Blue and 1. It's an aura. It has flash, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets -2/-0 and loses all abilities.
Right.
So that flash is pretty powerful. 2 mana, -2. All the little stuff's just not going to hurt you.
And the loses all abilities is big. It's very similar to what was
takes away flying, takes away trample, takes away death touch. I mean,
it's essentially the same spell as So Tiny out of Eldraine, I believe, except it costs 1 more mana and gets rid of their abilities, which I think is a fair trade-off.
And then Wingspan Mentor is the mentor for this color. I thought we'd hit the mentors on every color.
Yeah, we got a cycle of those.
It's a blue and 2 for a 1/3 human wizard. When it enters the battlefield, put a flying counter on target non-human creature you control. Then for a blue and 2, you tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with flying. That's the theme of them. It's a mana payment, tapping, putting a +1/+1 counter on each creature with whatever it cares about. White cared about vigilance, blue cares about flying.
Right.
So if you get those early and you can draft around them, they could be super powerful.
Oh, for sure.
Shall we move to black?
Move to black. Black's got, if we're going to talk about the things that each color's doing, their counter that they're going to be caring about is Death Touch, if I remember.
Lifelinks, in uncommons, Lifelink seems to be the bigger one.
You're right. There's the one that does the Death Touch, but their mentor is Lifelink, actually.
Yeah, so it's Lifelink when we go that way.
Yeah.
Just barely. And we'll go ahead and do the mentor. He's a black and 2 for a 1/3. They're not all 1/3s, are they? I missed that if they are. No. Keensight Mentor was a 1/4. But they've all cost 3 mana so far, though. But he's a human cleric. Or she, I'm sorry.
Yep.
When she enters the battlefield, put a lifelink counter on target non-human creature you control. For a black and 1 tap to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with lifelink. Yeah.
Since I see it right there next to it, I want to hit on some of our premium removal at uncommon in this set, and that's Easy Prey. It's a black and 1 instant, destroy target creature with converted mana cost 2 or less, and it cycles for 2. So it can't hit everything, but it hits your small stuff and it cycles. Oh, and then
that one's better though, isn't it?
We have Heartless Act, which is better. Most times it's probably going to be better. It's a black and 1 for an instant. It's a modal spell. You can choose one. You can either destroy target creature with no counters on it, or you can remove up to 3 counters from a target creature.
Also, really good removal.
It is very good removal. Black, obviously. Actually, all the colors, I'm going to say all the colors have pretty decent removal in this set.
In a way, you got Chittering Harvester, which is a mutate creature. It's a nightmare. It's a 4/6 for a black and 5 mana. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature.
Yeah.
That's some removal if you build a mutate deck with it. You know?
Yeah.
So you can do that. And then, what is it?
Bastion or the...
I kind of like Call of the Death Dweller at a black and 2 as sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards with total converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a Death Touch counter on either of them, then put a Menace counter on either of them. So you could put both counters on the same creature if you wanted.
Yeah.
This card looks really sweet. But again, you're going to have to be playing some little stuff to get the real work out of that. But it does say up to, so you could just get one creature that costs 3,
Right.
You get your Dustfang Mentor back and give it Death Touch and Lifelink, so that seems pretty good. But in all these colors, you could be building Mutate. So,
Mutate.
So don't forget about Mutate, all right?
It's the marquee mechanic of the set.
Just because we're not mentioning Mutate, it's out there in all the colors. I mean, black and commons, there's a couple of those,
Yep. At least 2.
Yeah, most...
There's more with triggers and a couple that mutate by themselves.
Red, let's go ahead and do the Mentor.
Yep.
It's a red and 2 for a 3/2, so it's got more power than the
Hey,
others.
it's a red. It's red. It should.
Enters the battlefield, put a menace counter, so it's carrying about menace counters on a non-human creature. And then for red and 2, tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on all the creatures with menace. So red is carrying about menace, at least at this level.
In red, I just want to touch on what I think is a great limited card, possibly, and that's Footfall Crater right next to it. It's 1 red mana for an enchant land that taps to give creatures trample and haste, or it just cycles for 1.
Yes.
Once again, in limited, that can be a finisher if it has to be. Essentially, giving something trample and haste in limited can, with the kind of big creatures we have in this set, can end a game. And also cycle for 1. If nothing, I mean, if nothing else, you can cycle it away.
Early game, you're light on lands or creatures, cycle this thing away, and get something better.
Right.
Late in the game, you might want to play it because you got some guys on the field, and now you have some evasion. You know? And you can get ahead of your opponent because you can play a creature, haste it, trample, you can get ahead.
Boom.
Yeah.
Trample makes a huge difference in closing out games like this sometimes.
I was pretty hot for weaponize the monsters. It's 1 red enchantment.
Yeah.
For 2 mana, you sacrifice a creature. Weaponize the monster, deals 2 damage to any target. This seems really strong in that you could finish somebody off with it. You could kill opponent's creatures with it. If they kill your creature, just hold mana up and sacrifice in response. Seems really, really good for red. There's not a lot of great red burn, as you would call it, but there's a lot of good red removal.
No, we talked about it. I don't know if we talked about it on Reblog Talk last week, but
I believe so.
We'll talk about Flame Spill. We'll talk about Super Duper Death Ray real quick here.
Right.
It's a red and 2 instant, and it is our premier red direct damage spell. Flame Spill deals 4 damage to target creature. Excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. It's
not a burn spell. That's what you said on Reblog Talk.
It's a spell with trample.
Spell with trample. It's super duper death ray.
Right.
But as long as they have a target, say they got a 1 toughness guy, you're still going to get a bolt into them.
And I got one more quick question on red here. With this Clash of the Titans, have we had this ability on a card before? Target creature fights another target creature, where it's just any 2 target creatures, not one I control. I can have your creature fight your creature.
Red has gotten it before.
Red has gotten it before.
Red has let you do that. Yeah, red gets 5, but red usually, and this costs 5 mana.
It does cost 5.
It is an instant speed.
Right.
But yeah, target creature fights another target creature. Yeah. Green,
Okay.
it always has to be your creature fighting somebody else. But red, I don't remember the name of it, but it has done it before.
Okay. I was
and
curious.
sometimes red gets something like a tail slap, where it does damage equal to its toughness. To another creature, doesn't receive damage back.
That's true.
So it'll get a one-way fight sometimes with a tail slap. And then if you like cool names, I kind of was partial to Porky Parrot.
Porky Parrot.
Porky Parrot's pretty good. He's a red and 3 for a 3/4. That's solid. Mutate creature for red and 2. You can tap him, and this creature deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. So if you like fun names, Porky Parrot seems like a good one to me.
They tried to give a lot of these mutate creatures those kind of names too, which I appreciate.
So, and I don't know, I haven't been following. I don't know if there's a cycle. There's Reptilian Reflection for a red and 2. It also is an enchantment. Cares about cycling.
That's true.
Whenever you cycle a card, you may have Reptilian Reflection become a 5/4 dinosaur creature with trample and haste, in addition to its other types until end of turn.
Sweet.
In addition to its other types.
So it'd still be an enchantment. It'd be an enchantment creature.
Yeah.
So this will be great in my Yadaro deck once I get to build it. I cycle Yadaro, but I'll attack with this 5/4 until I can get my 8/8. You know?
So let's finish up the Mentor cycle here. With green and 2. I guess they all cost 3 mana.
Yep.
And it's a 3/3.
Yeah, that sounds green.
So it's a beefy one. It's green, right? And enters the battlefield, put a trample counter on target non-human creature that you control. And then for a green and 2, tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with trample. So trample is what you're caring about, at least at uncommon here. And I'm pretty excited for this Auspicious Starks.
Oh, yeah.
A green and 4 for a 6/6. First off, that's a good rate.
That's a really good rate, yeah.
Says whenever this creature mutates, so it's a mutate creature that costs a green and 5
So
for
it's
the
more
mutate.
expensive to mutate.
Yeah, because this is a good creature. But whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature has mutated, and then put those permanent cards onto the battlefield. That, my friends, is a rare in an uncommon slot.
Yep. That is exactly
There's some
what it
others,
is.
don't get me wrong, but that's a rare in an uncommon slot if you ask me.
You know, I haven't even noticed the card that's next to it, but it's a great example of how they print something in a set to take care of the things they printed in the last set. They do that quite often.
Okay?
Well, last set was Theros, a very big enchantment set.
Sure.
And here they gave us a green and 2, so 3 mana to exile up to 3 target enchantments. That's a great rate.
And
on
it cycles for 2.
And it cycles for 2. That's a great rate, but they don't put that in the set with all the enchantments. They wait one set later to
Yeah.
let people play them out.
Sure. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the next card then, Charge of the Forever Beast.
This is the one that had the wacky name and stuff we talked about.
A green and 2 sorcery.
Yeah.
As an additional cost to cast a spell, reveal a creature card from your hand, and then Charge of the Forever Beast deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the revealed card's power. That's a bite ability, and it's the first time they've done it where you didn't have to have the creature on the battlefield.
Yep.
So this is from your hand. Got to have a creature in your hand, and then it bites something. So it's not getting bit back. It's not a fight. It's a bite. That's what they call it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I gotta give. I mean, you know, green's really hurting for cool cards lately, so I'm glad that they were.
I'm glad they gave us. I'm glad they threw us a bone.
Right.
You know. So, and a green, you know, I could talk about all the green.
Right.
A couple of reprints. Ivy Elemental, Lead the Stampede. You know, Migration Path is a cycling version of Explosive Vegetation, I guess. Basically, you know.
Essentially, yeah.
And then Monster Step isn't bad. I got to looking at this thing. A green and 4 sorcery. Target creature gets +7/+7 until end of turn. Up to 1 other target creature blocks it this turn if able. And it cycles.
That's pretty cool.
So you can, it's up to 1, so you don't have to have them. But if they've got something that absolutely positively needs to die,
Yeah.
step on it.
Step on it.
Just step on it. That's what I'm saying.
I like a green and 1 on the cycling there to give to put trample tokens on something, or trample counters. I mean, it's an 11/11 itself, but 2 mana to draw a card and give another creature trample seems good.
Seems good, yeah. Again, I could just read you all the green cards, and we dang near did, I think. We've got, before we do the multicolor, I was going to mention the crystals. So there's a crystal for every color, kind of like we had a banner in Tarkir.
Right.
For all the wedges.
All the color combinations, yeah.
So definitely, if you're going to think you're in that wedge, you might pick up a crystal if it comes around your way to play a multicolored deck.
Yeah, with these 3-colored decks, the fixing, I mean, with it being a 3-color set, still unlimited, you're probably not going to be playing 3 colors all the time, but you're going to want to more often. So having the fixing for it is important.
I'll tell you, I looked at these multicolored cards, and there's not a cycle of 10 like there normally is. And I'm not sure if there's... I'm sure they've got it divided up like they normally do for a draft, where you draft around this theme or that theme. But I did notice that the color pair, they're done... It's a wedge set.
Right.
But they gave us 2 cards of each friendly color. Is that what
this is enemies right here.
Yeah, 2 cards from each enemy color pair. And then they gave us hybrid cards.
The friendlies are in hybrids, right?
Yeah, 5, 8. Actually, they gave us 3 cards of each enemy pair, and then they gave us the 5 friendlies and hybrids. So it's really odd is the one thing I noticed about it. I've been noticing cycles. If you watched last week with the rares,
We talked about cycles a lot.
there was only 13 cards out of the 53 that weren't part of a cycle.
Yeah.
Everything else is cycles. I didn't notice as many cycles in this, but it's odd that there's 3 of each 2-color enemy pair, and then 1 of each friendly as hybrids.
Right.
So, I mean, the red, the Boros ones deal with cycling.
Yeah.
2 of them do anyway. 2 of the 3 Simic cards are on mutate. I think the Izzet ones, 2 out of the 3 is about sorceries and instants.
Yeah, spells matter theme somehow.
You know, it's just, it's kind of interesting. So anyway, I guess we need to go through that. But I wanted to mention that there was obviously some weird synergy at work here with the multicolored cards, you know, how they were working.
Right.
Because we've been getting a lot of sets where we get 10 multicolored cards and they each point you in a direction to draft.
Right. At uncommon, at least. We
At
get
uncommon,
one
yeah. At
on each of
uncommon.
the color pairs.
Right.
And
So, I mean, you know, you've got, you know...
it looks like you've got an instant, a creature, and an enchantment in each of those color pairs, actually. Nope. That one breaks it right there. Boros breaks it.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm
think
sorry.
so.
I apologize. It looked like it from the first couple pairs I saw there, but Boros threw it all out of whack. Didn't want an enchantment.
I think all of them have... I don't know. All of them have... I don't know.
But
I think all of them have a mutate.
oh, okay, yeah.
I think each color has a mutate.
Mutate.
Yeah. So anyway, we're trying to find cycles here while we're talking to you. You're getting bored off your arses. So if you're in Simic, then you're about drawing cards and putting +1/+1 counters on, you know.
Yeah.
Just like you always are.
Just like you are in any other
Just
set
like
of
you
Civic.
always are. So you got a mutate. You got Parcel Beast, a blue, a green, and 2. It's a 2/4. He mutates for a blue and a green, which is pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
1 tap. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put the card on the battlefield, put it in your hand. So it's a draw without being a draw.
Yep.
So be careful. It's not going to trigger a draw.
Right.
Okay.
It won't trigger a draw if anything says when you draw a card.
Primal Empathy is an enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. Well, we're not going to read all these, right?
Right. You got a beast that mutates to make more beast.
So there's actually 2 Simic mutates.
Yeah.
Trumpeting Gnar, a blue, green, and 1, but it mutates for hybrid Simic, and 3.
It's Simic is all about the mutate. Mutate's very heavy in their color pairs, which
They should be.
they should be. It's Simic. I mean,
They should be. And then you've got Boros here. Boros looks like it's again on cycling. It's got a mutate creature, Regal Leosaur, but it's about cycling because you got Savvy Thundermane, which is a white and a red for a 3/2, which is a great rate for an elemental cat. Whenever you cycle a card, you may pay 2. When you do, Savvy Thundermane deals 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life.
Right.
And then you got Zenith Flare, and I want to kill somebody with this card. It's a white, a red, and 2. It's an instant, and it deals X damage to any target, and you gain X life, where X is the number of cards with cycling ability in your graveyard. If you can draft that sweet cycling deck that cycles a bunch of cards, you could kill somebody with this.
You can kill somebody.
Straight up could kill somebody with this.
Which would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Golgari.
They have reanimation stuff.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, they got an instant.
Oh, that is quite awesome.
Yeah, back for more. It's a black, a green, and 4 generic. And return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And when you do, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So reanimate something and it fights. That's
Reanimate a big guy, kill a blocker, and have a dude left. That seems really good.
I'm all about reanimating like 10 casting cost creatures for 6 mana or something, you know?
It's really about bringing stuff back because Boneyard Lurker is a green, a black, and 2. It's a 4/4 Nightmare Beast.
Yeah.
And whenever this creature mutates, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So your regrowth in there. And then Skull Prophet's a green and a black for a 3/1. Human Druid, it taps for a black or a green. And you can put the top 2 cards of your library in your graveyard. So dump the stuff in the graveyard and then bring it back. That's what green and black does.
I have not played, like I said, I played one sealed event on Arena, but from what I've been hearing from some people, Skull Prophet's just, well, for one, if you remember 10, 15 years ago in Magic, we'd have never believed a card like that exists. Right, like a green and a black for a 3/1. Wow, what's the drawback? Actually, it's got 2 abilities and no drawback.
Yeah.
What? You know? So that sounds really good.
Seems all right. You want to talk about Channel Force?
Channel Force here.
You're the Is It person.
I'm the Is It person here. It's a good card. It's a Narset's, whatever it was called at one point until we got a real name, but it's got Narset on the artwork. It's a red, a blue, and 2 for an instant, and has an additional cost to cast a spell, discard X cards. Target player draws X cards, and Channeled Force deals X damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. That's pretty sweet. I don't mind discarding and drawing more cards. I'm good with that. We got a Lord Dracus. Also, Is It? It's the mutate creature. Blue, a red, and 1, or it mutates for 2 hybrid Is It. It's a 2/3. Whenever it mutates, you get to return a target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand.
Something that Is It does.
Yeah. Makes you want to build Drakes again. Oh, and look, they gave us a Drake. It's just not a Drake.
It's a fairy dragon, man.
That sounds like a Drake.
That sounds like D&D. It's a fairy dragon.
Our Sprite Dragon, adorable, by the way, for a blue and a red. And it's a fairy dragon, a 1/1 flying haste. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on it.
I love the flavor text. Size of a pixie, rage of a hellkite. That's awesome. Orzhov gets Dire Tactics. It's an instant that says exile target creature. If you don't control a human, you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. So, seems easy enough.
Yeah, black-white is all about the humans.
General's Enforcer is a black and a white for a 2/3, and it's a human soldier. Legendary humans you control have indestructible.
Interesting.
That seems good, commander-wise.
Yeah.
For a black, a white, and 2, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. And then Necropanther, another cool name.
Another cool name.
Black, a white, and 1 for a 3/3. That's a solid rate.
Yeah.
The mutate cost is 2 hybrid Orzhov and 2. And then whenever this creature mutates, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Wow.
That's super nice.
That is super nice. Then we go into hybrid stuff, guys, is where we're going to be finishing up on.
That's where we'll be wrapping, yes, sir.
We got 5 hybrid cards. Like you said, we got 3 of each on the uncommon slot on all those allied pairs, but the enemy pairs.
Enemy pairs.
Well, on the enemy pairs, but then on the allied pairs, here we are with just
And they're
one
all hybrid, so you could play them in a mono deck if you wanted.
So we got a Selesnya hybrid.
Yeah, that one's mine. That's a 2 hybrid Selesnya mana +1 generic. It's a 2/4 for Human Scout with Vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 1 life for each creature you control with Vigilance. So playing into that Vigilance theme of white,
Right.
more or less.
If you notice here, all the hybrid ones are all humans, by the way.
They are all humans.
We got in Gruul, we have a Proud Wild Bonder for 2 Gruul hybrid and 2. He's a human warrior. He's a 4/3 with trample, and he says creatures you control with trample you may have this creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Sweet.
Then we have Sonorous Hellbonder, 2 hybrid Rakdos and 1 human warrior. It has Menace. It's a 2/2. And each creature you control with Menace can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures.
I'm going to hate this thing so much whenever I end up having to play against it. Menace already just like...
Super Menace.
Oh.
Maybe we should call this Dennis the Menace.
Oh, after that we have the Cunning Night Bonder. These are all bonders, by the way. For 2 Dimir hybrid. It's a human rogue 2/2. It has flash, and it says spells you with flash you cast cost 1 less to cast, and can't be countered. So I know
Is that not a rare at an uncommon slot?
I know that might be a mythic, but the fact that Simic Flash is still a deck and you can play this because it can just be mono blue.
It's just mono blue. Yep.
I mean, they didn't put it in the Simic colors, but they might as well have.
Same as. And then we'll wrap up with Jubilant Skybonder. It is Azorius. 2 hybrid Azorius mana and 1 for a 2/2 flyer, human wizard. Creatures you control with flying have spells your opponents cast that target this creature cost 2 more to cast. That's a pretty good anti-removal right there.
That is pretty good anti-removal.
That's pretty good.
Yes. But that's our uncommons, guys.
We'll be doing commons next week.
Right.
And that should run us right up to the release weekend.
Yep.
Release/pre-release
Yes.
weekend. And you guys should get cards in hand by then. So we appreciate you guys watching. We ran just a little over our normal time, I think. We usually try to hit an hour. But we appreciate you watching. Drop a comment in there. Let us know what you think. And you got anything else there, big man?
No, but we'd love to see you come in. We're open again here at Grove Gamers Guild.
I do have one more thing.
Oh, he does. I just remembered.
These got to be our diehards.
You hit it under the table there. I forgot about it.
See this big backpack right here?
It's a great big backpack. Gen Con backpack.
Says Gen Con on it. Can you see that? There we go. All right, that big backpack, that is full of board games and stuff. There is over $300 in retail value in that bag. And every time you come in the month of May, with a purchase or without, just ask for one, you'll be able to enter a drawing to win that at the end of May. So I'll probably be drawing for it the 1st of June.
Right.
But everybody that comes in will get to put their name in. So if you come in every day I'm open, which is 4 days a week, you can get four entries a week. But you do have to come in and put your entry in. That's just my thank you for all the folks who came out right before it closed down. All the people who came out the last few days since I opened back up. You guys have been wonderful. I appreciate it. It's my way of saying thank you. It's just what I've thought of to do so far. There'll be more. And all my locals, WotC did double the allocation. Did we already talk about that? For mystery boosters.
So if you need mystery boosters,
let me know. $140 a box.
Yep.
All that money stays here locally because Wizards donated those.
Yes.
So all that money will help your local game store. So if you're not local and you're watching, help your local game store.
They need the help. It's been
Don't
hard
cheat
on all
them.
of them.
Don't ask them for it cheaper. Give them that amount, whatever they're asking. Okay. Mystery Booster's a lot of fun. Hopefully we get to draft some more of that. Looking real forward to it. But anyway, I think that is all we've got. It's all the notes I've got. Guys, come on out to Grove Gamers Guild if you're local, where everybody knows your game.